Welcome to the Honest Hour. I'm your host, Luis Acevedo, and we got quite a bit to talk about today. So I want to jump right into it. Um, there's some interesting information that came out. Now, it's not really surprising to most of us. We came to this conclusion long before. Um, that is, the FBI raid only helped the red wave. It only inspired the Republicans to go out and vote for the midterms and get ready for them. Before we actually jump into this, let me just rewind a little bit and let everybody know on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and if you're listening to this later, the topics for today are FBI raid ensured the red wave, DeSantis beats Trump 2024, university culture is horrible, revolutions are evil, and then, as always, my Cash App, if you feel you're getting any value out of this, the Cash App is $Luis Acevedo 27. That's LuisAcevedo 27. So that's only if you feel that this is bringing you any value. So to start things off right, we will be accepting guests, but it will be after I cover these points. And yes, I think the American Revolution was evil too. So we will be accepting guests. We'll be addressing questions. I just want to go over the main topics, and then we can discuss about it with whoever. So first point being the FBI raid ensured the red wave. So in a recent poll conducted by economist YouGov, they found that from August 13th through the 16th, 51% Republicans responded saying that they were enthusiastic about the 2022 midterm elections. And this was a 6% increase from the poll taken just days before the raid, literally 7 to 9, August 7th through 9th. And so a 6% increase. And then we also have a slight increase with Democrats and independents as well. We both by 1 point, right? So Democrats are at 36% and independents are at 36% and independents are at 25%. So we knew that this was only going to help the Republican Party out. It did not really help the Democratic Party out at all, which is why I've been very dubious as to how this all played out. Did the left truly try to attack Trump? Because if they did, it backfired greatly. Trump is using it to his advantage, and the Republicans are going to use it to their advantage as well. So it doesn't make very much sense to me. So I've been floating around the idea that Trump may have orchestrated it somehow in his favor, whether it be, I don't know. I don't know exactly how it would work, but I know that he's been subpoenaed for like over a year regarding some of this information. And I don't know if he knew that this was coming, and so he somehow played it out in his favor, or if he actually conspired with some FBI agents to have this work out the way it did. I don't know. It's very interesting, though. But it's definitely working for them. They have all time, like their fundraising's crushing, and their voter base is ready to go. But this leads me into the second topic. You just can't take documents. Yeah, okay. And this leads me into the second topic, actually, which is DeSantis beating Trump. So while Trump has a lot of people behind his back, behind him right now, as we saw with after the raid, people were going to his home and supporting him. And then in Long Island, they were supporting him as well. But I think that Trump has one fatal flaw, and that is the fact that he is very supportive of the Jabadoo, the poison. He's a big supporter of J&J, and he has a kind of rough track record now with his base. He did not help his base in January 6th. He did not help his base in January 6th. He basically incited it, did not get his bases back, then locked down the world, and then encouraged everybody to follow the rules, as well as supporting J&J. And so those are some huge things that I think are going to come back and hurt him greatly. Whereas DeSantis has a much better record politically and financially. And he's also speaking vehemently against the cough and sniffles, jabs, all that stuff, where Trump has caved. And then another indicator of this as well is that the Ohio Republican senator that's running, J.D. Vance, he's not running, but he's running for senator in Ohio as a Republican. J.D. Vance, he had DeSantis come to his rally here in Ohio and essentially endorsed him. So I think that J.D. Vance did that for a strategic reason, because he'd rather have, I get it, right? You can have multiple sources that are already established within the Republican Party to support you. And Donald Trump openly supported J.D. Vance, but J.D. Vance has openly spoken out against Donald Trump before in the past. So I think that J.D. Vance is preparing for a realignment in case DeSantis does run in 2024 to align with DeSantis over Trump. So I think that Trump is disloyal, and therefore that's going to stab him in the back greatly. So for that reason, I think that DeSantis has a better shot of winning in 2024. And one of the things that DeSantis is really good, one reason that DeSantis is really good at pointing, one thing DeSantis is really good at pointing out is the issue with universities and wokeism, right? So this leads us into the next topic. So UC Berkeley, an off-campus housing co-op bans white people from the common area due to white violence. And so this is a person of color theme house where people go to avoid white violence and presence. While it's not part of UC Berkeley, it is a part of Berkeley Student Cooperative. It's a nonprofit housing cooperative to help people who can't afford housing in the Bay Area for the school. And I guess Stephen Rose, however you pronounce his name, is the cooperative experience manager for Berkeley Student Co-ops. And he said the following, this is a quote: "White people can and do live in POC House, but the focus for POC House is providing a safe and supportive living environment for people of color. So the university has nothing to do with it, and yet you blame them." I said university culture. University culture. So the university culture is promoting wokeness. I mean, this is a liberal campus, and it's just an indoctrination camp, which is why I think that nobody should really be going to universities to begin with. I think that unless you're going for something like very specific, even though, like, I don't know, doctors are very corrupt these days. The STEMs are less corrupt, but they're still corrupt. I mean, you have the reducibility crises. 10 to 1, this dude believes the earth is flat. I don't know what the earth is. It's a lot of convincing arguments, both sides. Yeah, school is not bad. That's not my argument. My argument is that the universities have become corrupt, extremely corrupt, by leftists. And this has been going on for years because academia really caters to the left. All the Marxist revolutions, essentially, communist revolutions, began really with the academics. So everything you disagree with is corrupt or woke. No, that's not true at all. The host can define what a woman is. I can. This is true. Classic hyper paranoid delusional thinking. Life must be super straight. It's actually not. I enjoy my life. I think that the world is a beautiful place. I believe that there is evil in the world and it attempts to distort. And that's all that I'm trying to do, is point out the things that are distorted and untrue. Don't know if the earth is round, but school is bad. Never said school is bad. Dude, what's up with the Cash App? What's up with it? If you want to donate, feel free to contribute to the live stream. We put a lot of work into these streams. We do a lot of reading, do a lot of prep. And then, we have to pay for also the storage. So, if you want to support. No, it's not socialism. You guys are retarded. I am literally providing a service. And if you don't like the service, you can leave. I'm not asking for anybody to hand out. If you don't want to, don't do it. That's fine. I don't need your money. How do you feel about the American Revolution? I don't agree with the American Revolution. I don't think that a lot of people agreed with it either. Actually, there was a huge anti-revolution movement that was taking place. And most people are unaware of that. There's a huge anti-revolution taking place. And the reason I don't believe in revolutions, what service? Miseducation? No, not at all. See ya. So you're pro-monarchy. Yeah, I have no issue with monarchy. I think monarchy would be much better than democracy, would be much better than a republic. That's my personal opinion. But I don't believe in revolutions nonetheless. I think that if a government is corrupt enough and bad enough to the point where people want to revolt against it, it is already bound to fail. So rather than revolting, the best thing to do, in my opinion, would be to work on building an alternative system to withstand the government collapsing on its own weight because it's so corrupt and evil. Because things that are corrupt and evil do not last forever. Lies do not last forever. Why do you think the FBI raid will work for the conservatives? Well, as I've already addressed earlier, Republicans are more enthusiastic to vote for the midterms. Trump has riled up the Republicans greatly. And it just makes Republicans look as if they're a group that's been victimized. But we know that this narrative is not really all that valid because there's a recent article that came out regarding the FBI raiding a socialist house in St. Petersburg, I believe. The African People's Socialist Party, I believe is what it's called. So the FBI can be used as a political weapon from either side if you want to make that argument. But ultimately, I would say that the FBI is not bad. It's not good. It's just a weapon. It's just a tool, rather. It's a tool that can be used for good or evil. And I think that we're better off with that tool than without the tool. I know that it can be used for political gain. However, I would argue that most of the time it's not. So if he's guilty, he should pay for the crime. Member of the party of law and order. Yeah, 100%. IRS used against Tea Party and Obama term. This is true. This is very true. Yes, I'm totally aware of that, Mike Dave. They can be used for good and evil. This is a fact. Trump hasn't riled anybody up. The government is corrupt. Trump has riled people up. He's using this as a narrative to portray him as a victim. People are sick and tired of the Green New Deal and wokeism, open borders, and crime is out of control. Yeah, people are tired of the Green New Deal. People are tired of the lawlessness that's coming about. But what needs to happen first is the people, us, as opposed to trying to go after the government, need to fix what is corrupt inside of us, because we're the ones that we're also complicit in the corruption. It's not just one party or one government or, one bad guy doing it to us. We have to be complicit. And so there's a part of us that's dependent on this broken system. Therefore, it's not just pointing the finger, but we need to take action ourselves in our own lives. Try to become more independent in certain ways. As opposed to being fearful of what they're going to do, be mindful of what you're going to do. Jesus, really? Yeah. Yeah, I'm serious, Rich. I'm serious. You have been complicit, if you're in America, in some way, shape, or form in the destruction of America, whether it be taking out a mortgage, bro, whether it be taking out a car loan. Those things are fueling the economic prison in which so many people live in, because you now are falling into the trap of usury, right? Because you're taking out debt, paying interest on that debt, and the banks get richer and richer off of that. So you're promoting the fiat system, and you can say whatever you want that, oh, well, I have to do it in order to have this house, in order to do these things. Well, no, you don't need those things. And you don't need to go into debt for it either. Something that I've learned is that a lot of the people during these takeovers, these totalitarian takeovers, that lost everything, the majority of them were indebted to the financiers, to the government. Sure, I don't agree with fear-mongering. Yeah, me either. So a lot of these people were in debt. Flat out. They were in debt. They got their land taken away from them. They starved. They struggled. They were persecuted. Chiefly, the chief reason being debt. Wait, the Dems are doing the takeover. Where am I? Nobody's saying the Dems are doing the takeover. The takeover is being done by both parties and powers much higher than them. We should tear down more statues. This made me feel so much better. Yeah. Sarcasm. I get it. But BlackRock, I mean, yeah, they're part of it, right? There's people above them. Ultimately, I had this kind of, I don't know if you'd call it a realization, but just this thought the other day. So I'm a Christian. And in the Bible, it says, there are people in the body of Christ. So I thought the opposite must be true as well, that there are people in the body of Satan. Red wave fizzling, House but not Senate. No, I think that it's both going to flip. I'm an atheist. Okay. I appreciate you, host. You seem to be understanding of both sides. Yeah. I mean, you have to. I mean, that both sides are corrupt. Obviously, I am right-leaning. Not even right-leaning. I'm like way right. Way right. But I see what's going on in politics. And most of politics, you get a victim narrative that you can use to your advantage, and you can win some votes. You can win some dollars. Because people love to help others who they feel are being attacked. They love to come to the aid. Abortions are disgusting. They're absolutely disgusting. The issue is the fear-mongering and spin that both sides put out. Agreed. Another tactic, not even tactic, but a fear-mongering narrative the right has been pushing out for quite some time, not quite some time, but just as of late, is the whole IRS. 87,000 agents. They're coming to attack middle class and working class Americans. Pro-choicers respect the right of women to decide if they remain pregnant or not. Hey, Jeff Clark, I don't like to talk with people who are pro-baby murder, so get out of here. Americans has huge issues we need to handle ASAP. Yeah, but handle the issues that are in your life first. No, they aren't coming after the middle class. Yeah, they aren't coming out of the middle class. They aren't coming after the middle class. Are taxes being raised? Yeah, I think that is a true. That's true regarding the bill. Read the bill. Yeah, so from my knowledge, it's 87,000 agents that they will be hiring over the course of 10 years. IRS is understaffed, and those 80K are over 10 years. Exactly. Yeah, I know. Dude, I'm literally saying 87. No, it's not 87,000 total. Is it? If it is, I must be wrong. Okay, cool. So you corrected me. So everybody's saying that it's 87,000 new agents, but apparently they're only going to be adding 12,000 new agents from what Hatem is saying. We have a winter coming fast with massive homelessness. Yeah. So if you feel the need to take some people in or just get out of the cities and you won't have to worry about it. But let's see here. Corruption. Liz Cheney came into office reporting 6 million. Now she has 44 million. Yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously some insider trading took place there. Most school districts cut the free food programs for the kids. Well, you should. I mean, their free food is garbage to begin with. You shouldn't be sending your kids to public school in the first place. Homelessness is due to big conglomerates buying all the houses. That's nonsense. In part, you can blame it on, I don't even know that in part you can blame it on that. I think homelessness is a direct result of poor decisions made in one's life. Biden, 41-year high inflation. Yeah. Donate to the schools, donate to the food pantries. You could do that, or you could just start your own little homestead and, provide to your local community, provide for your family first. Children they don't have to go to public school. You can homeschool your children. Sacrifice to invest in your child. They do not need to go into a soulless institution known as public school. They do not have to. I'd argue that most of the mental health problems that children face today correlate with public school. Honestly, I think DeSantis and Owens should be the nominee. Who's Owens? Candace Owens? Are you serious, Mr. Saxt, or however you pronounce your name? Biden is actually killing it right now for Dems. His app rate will vibe up in Nov. No, he won't, dude. Nobody wants him. You should read more. Like, the Democratic leadership does not want him. I want to keep DeSantis in my state. I feel you, MC. I'm not in Florida, but I get it. Some people can't because they have to work. Everybody can. Literally everybody can. It's a sacrifice you make for your child. I don't buy that. Republicans want schools to be profitable like prisons. Yes, everyone can. Lower your standards of living. Don't be loose with who you... Yes, people have to work. I get that. All right? However, you can lower your standards if need be. Fact. Just so that way you can homeschool your children. I know people in a community I'm in who went without a job because they refused to cave to the cough and sniffles and homeschooled their children and never ended up homeless. And now they have a better position, which allows them to still homeschool their children. You've never been poor? I haven't. I have not ever been poor, but my family, I have tremendous amounts of family members who are still very poor. I grew up in I had a very interesting life. My parents dropped out of high school. Then they got their GEDs. They do very well for themselves now. And they do very well for themselves. But pretty much everybody else in my family, with the exception of two other extended families, are very, very poor. Very, very poor. And I see why they're very, very poor to begin with. It's not like they don't make enough money. They're just bad with their money. A lot of my family is on government assistance. They abuse the system. Literally, they'll game the system. So it's like, I get it. I get it. I've had a very interesting life because my parents are the anomaly in their families. That's not the same in every community. But I need a new TV and a new phone and car every year. Exactly, MC. Why should patriotic citizens vote for a party that condones espionage? Well, both parties commit espionage. That's a fact. History shows us that. JFK was spying on Martin Luther King, if I'm not mistaken. So they both commit espionage. So to base your vote on what party commits espionage is nonsense, because they both do, if you're being honest. My nieces are homeschooled, best kids I know. I'm biased a bit. I bet they are pretty good. Every homeschool kid I know, they're pretty awesome. What good reasons should patriotic for the party that doesn't care about sedition? 1963, that was when. Both parties commit espionage, yes. Truth Social, let's see. Hang on. I missed some comments in here. Against homeschooling. Never said you were. I get it. I get where you're coming from. I know where your heart's at. Well, I feel that I know where your heart's at. Higher minimum wage? I don't think so. When I go to vote, why should I vote for a party of sedition and political violence? Yeah, so that's very ambiguous because both parties do that. Arguably, both parties do that. As an independent voter, I've only received death threats from Republicans. And there's a lot of right-wingers who have only received death threats from left-wingers. So you're thinking very binary right now, and it's got to get out of that. It's very low IQ thinking. Truth Social has turned over everything to FBI, looking for threats towards judges, law enforcement. Okay. Right now, Republicans are threatening civil war. Well, it's kind of like the Russia-NATO thing, right? Like, who's provoking who into what? And I don't agree with civil war. Roe v. Wade secured blue wave. Definitely did not. People don't care about, unaliving babies that much. And if they do, this country deserves to fall. What evidence is there for a red wave? Well, it's historical. How is the FBI based for bias for Dems if they announced investigations into Hillary 11 days before elections? I don't understand your question entirely. Because, she destroyed the evidence. They know that she did that. There was a lot of complicity in, like, they were conspiring with her, essentially using fake dossiers. Conservatives don't care about the health care of women and girls. Oh my God. All these pro-on-a-life babyers. I can't stand it. Any more talk about pro-choice, you're banned. I don't want to associate with anybody who's like that. I don't. It's disgusting to me. It's literally repulsive. Why should the government have power over gender identity, sexuality, or reproductive rights? Oh my God. Those FBI agents were perverts and went through his clothes and undergarments. Probably. You can't force. Oh my gosh. Get out of here, Seth. Nobody wants you in here, you disgusting person. Very, very disgusting. We can fix our differences without a civil war. Yeah, it starts with in your heart. There's no ethical reason to give government power over reproductive choice. All right, you're out of here. So no basis for a red wave. Yeah, I went over it at the beginning of the stream. You can just go check it out yourself. I think you're sibling can't hold Republicans. I do hold Republicans accountable. Will Trumpers. No one is. Okay, it's a fetus. All right, you're out of here. I mean, it's literally disgusting. Why are you? Because it's disgusting. It's immoral. It is literally evil. It is one of the most evil things I can think of. To argue pro-choice or pro-life is this. To me, it's literally to argue: are you pro R word? Are you anti R word? You hold Republicans accountable. I do. Listen to my streams more. I've literally criticized Trump all the time. I literally criticize Republicans all the time. They suck at standing up for conservative values. Do you hold? Yes, if you listen to what I said in the beginning, I said he incited it. And he didn't even back his people. He's a betrayer. He incited it. They did not, and then he did nothing. Dude, Joe, that's not the same thing. Stop talking about it or you're out of here. I don't want to talk about this stuff. These are one of the non-moving positions of mine. You will never, ever, ever in a million years change my mind on that because it is the most evil thing. Oh, no, you hold Republicans accountable. Whatever will we do? Yeah, whatever will you do? If you're comparing the badness of two things and you won't even say one of them, that's the worst then. I don't know what you're talking about. So we should never do not resuscitate on people on life support, pro-life. You're out of here, dude. I'm going to mute you for like 5 minutes. I'm not talking about this, all right? You're muted for like 5 minutes. If you end up leaving, that's cool. So if he is responsible, he should be persecuted. I have no issue with that. None whatsoever. Let justice be served. Justice is supposed to be blind. Trump isn't my daddy. Trump isn't my idol. I disagree on the incitement. Trump literally said to go peacefully to the Capitol. Yeah. Well, he also said we need to do something about that election. So, but he did not back up his people. He literally did not back up his people. He did not once pardon anybody. That what took place in January. Was the American Revolution evil? Yes, I think it was. I love your live, but I'm fine with women doing what they want. I disagree with adoption, though. It's not women doing what they want. You're literally making women gods. That's the most stupidest, evilest thing I ever heard. And also, a woman needs a man to do that as well. So it's not like the man is excluded from this situation. And there's also a third person who is literally the most vulnerable of us all. Does not matter. Live tournament 15 miles from where Todd Beamer lived. I don't know what you're talking about. What about the Industrial Revolution? Yeah, I think that the Industrial Revolution has made society worse in a lot of ways. Women and girls never need a man. Yes, they do. You're out of here. So where is abortion is concerned? Police state or no police state? All right. I'm not talking about this anymore. I literally think if you believe in pro-choice, you have a lot of evil in your heart. But you may be blind and you don't see that. So that's all right. But this is not the place where I'm going to debate it because it's useless to me. The red wave already happened during the election. I can't even read your comment, D-Lac. All this other stuff doesn't sway anyone. Might just get people that were swaying DeSantis back to Trump. I don't know about Trump. But Trump, then DeSantis for the next 4 years, yes. No, I don't know. I don't really care at this point. How do you feel about the earth turning on revolutions? I don't even know that the earth turns on revolutions, but we don't have to get into that whole conversation. Flat earthers make good, compelling arguments. So I don't know what the earth is. I don't make any claims. I just know from my perspective, it looks to be flat and things look to be rotating above us. That's what I know. That's what I can see. But I haven't done any of the experiments. I haven't done any of the math. And I'm inclined to believe those people that don't work for NASA just because NASA is filled with liars, but whatever. I like Trump, but I don't think he'll win. I don't think that he'll win either after DeSantis throws his hat in the ring, I think. Please don't say that I was liking you. Well, if literally you stop liking me because of my position on the earth, you have some big, big problems within yourself. Literally. That's called being a bigot, by the way, literally. Just so you know. By definition, that's bigotry. I don't think DeSantis will run. I do. No, man, relax. No, you don't tell me to relax. I'm perfectly relaxed. You're the one that's getting triggered over my perspective on what the earth is. I say I don't know what the earth is. So if you stop liking somebody because they think that the earth may be flat, there's something wrong with you, dude. Literally. Has DeSantis said he was going to run? No, not officially, but I think he will. I'm pretty sure he will. I need you to genuinely tell me why all revolutions are evil. So the revolutions I'm talking about are political in nature. So I believe that governments, the reason why revolutions come about is because the government's corrupt. The people feel that they're evil, and they want to replace it with something new. So, if that's the case, if they're evil and corrupt, and they want to replace it with something new, why try and destroy it? As opposed to building something better and waiting for it to just collapse. Building an alternative as opposed to fighting the system. Because if we look at the American Revolution, we are now entering, whether you're right wing, left wing, it did no good. We are now entering a tyrannical government. So what good did all those people sacrifice their lives for to bring us right now? Why would an evil, powerful system allow you to build alternatives? They do it right now. You literally have not studied history. In the Soviet Union, you could own your own private land. Literally. During the height of the Soviet Union, you could have your own private farm. This is a fact. So you can always build alternatives. Yes, this is a fact. It wasn't very big, but it was enough to feed your family. And they did allow for some private property in the Soviet Union. Fact. And right now, I believe the best thing people can do is work on localizing your supply chains, not going after the system, just building alternatives. That way you're less dependent on it. So the tyrannical government allowed something. It allowed you to feed yourself if you weren't in debt and dependent. It allowed you to build alternatives. But if you want to stay lost in your fantasy world of somebody jackbooting you down and, taking all your rights away, quote unquote, feel free to do that. And if you think rising up against it's going to help it, feel free to lose your life for nothing. It did, yes. You have no, the question does not relate to anything we were talking about. What rights have been taken away? One could argue the First Amendment has kind of been diminished, and the Second Amendment has been diminished. The Fourth Amendment has been diminished. We need term limits. I don't know, man. I have a kind of contrarian view on that. I believe that they should get paid a lot more and have longer term limits. It does. I'm just gauging how down the rabbit hole you are. Okay. I'm very, very far in the rabbit hole. And anybody far enough down the rabbit hole knows that I don't even know if I can really say the word without getting triggered, but we'll call it the H word, that the H word did happen. It just was nowhere near as severe as they claim it to be by official documents. Why are you wearing a hat? Because I like to wear hats. I think they get greedy after a while. H word. Yeah, what happened in World War II? Are you sure that's the reason? 100% sure. And if you're trying to infer that I'm balding, it's seriously the lighting. But anyway, you can think that I'm balding. I don't care. Prison orange jumper. Apple cost. Yeah, that Podfather. So yeah, I think that they get greedy, yes, but I've made this argument numerous times. That's basically $174,000 a year. Can't accept. He's balding, but can accept. Yikes. Haley, let me ask you this. Why is your husband allowing you on TikTok right now? I mean, he should literally cut off the internet if he saw you on TikTok. Are your dad? I mean, this is a place for men. So, see ya. In North Carolina, my neighbors and I can survive just fine without the rest of you. I like that thinking, Walt Murphy. I like it. He's also a monarchist. Why are you using that as like a pejorative? Like you're insulting me. Oh, he's a monarchist. He's a monarchist. Watch out for this guy. This guy likes to have kings and order and, honor in his culture. Oh, all those things. He believes in God and all these things. He's a loony bin. He's a monarchist. When the real Looney Tunes are those that don't realize that monarchies are the longest lasting governments in history. What do Freemasons do? No honor. Okay. God didn't want his people to have a king. You obviously are misinterpreting the whole thing. He didn't want people to think that their kings were gods, but God literally established a kingdom. What he disagreed with, you can go and look at it. He said, everybody was like, hey, we want to have this king. We need to have this king, right? But this king needs to be like God, because all the other kings around us are like God. And God was like, you guys don't want that. They were like, but we do, because we want to be degenerates. God was like, okay, be a degenerate. But literally, it is what God established for government. Even God said Satan is a god. Yeah, but I like how you emphasize the lowercase g. What do Freemasons do? Good question. Well, back in the day, they were actual brick masons. They were bricklayers. They did masonry, I believe. And then they evolved into something much else. They weren't Jans. Okay. What was your question? Do you not see my comments? No, I don't. I read one of your comments and that's it. Let's talk about the time Democrats stormed the Senate building. Over 300 were arrested. FBI raid was justified. Okay, Max Morris. So in your ideal worldview, Queen Elizabeth should be ruling a colonized empire. No, not at all. Not in the slightest. It should be a king, should be a man. And I think that empire building is a futile endeavor because they inevitably get taken over by other cultures, other people. And then you lose your kingdom over time. You lose your empire. So no, I don't believe in, being empirical. Stop dreaming the pod. Factually happen. How do you lose your empire? Well, you overextend. Look at the United States. What state do I live in? I live in the Midwest. I live in a state in the Midwest. They gave him literal months to return the documents. They had a meeting with him, and he still didn't. I know, which is why I think that he may have orchestrated it in his favor to win votes, to win the hearts and minds of the Republicans over having a female run a show. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Kings all day, baby. Kings all day. How to steal the empire? Well, it's a long, slow process. But you just overextend yourself. Your military power begins to decline. The governing body does not reflect the majority of people in the empire. And the values slowly begin to shift. So it's a slow destruction. But that's essentially what happens pretty much every time with empires. But people shouldn't revolt against being colonized by an empire. Well, I don't think that there's anything wrong with I think that there are times where war is justified. But is that a revolution? The majority voted Democrat, though. Joe, don't tell me you believe this fake news. You have to be smarter than that. Or you just must be really caught up in cognitive dissonance. Because any objective spectator of the politics, any objective spectator of the politics would see it was not organic. We'll just leave it as that. Are you European? Talk like one? No, I mean, I'm like a mutt. I'm Puerto Rican and a bunch of different European nations, races, whatever. You can't just go fake news and say Biden didn't win. I can. I literally can, Max. I literally just did. How can't I do that? There were literally 2 million votes more. Yeah, exactly. The Podfather gets it. We had international spectators watch the election. LOL. Did you really laugh out loud? That's the most passive-aggressive GAY thing I see guys do. When I see a guy do that, I automatically think, beta. Like, you can do that, but you just aren't correct. Like, you can do that. I imagine you, like, waving your hand kind of like this, like it's very weak. And you have a high-pitched voice when you're saying that. Therefore, everything you're saying, I'm just ignoring pretty much at this point. So British colonies, a country, the people lose the war. Should the people not then revolt? No. No, I don't think so. Because there's a stronger power that is more established than you are. How can you vote for Trump the way your people were treated? I didn't vote for Trump in 2020. Why are you assuming So only the Democrats' numbers are off. The Republican numbers were accurate. Joe, nobody's making that claim, all right? These things get – I have to be very careful in what I say about these kind of things, all right? Because I can get banned in a quick second on YouTube and all that stuff. But both parties have manipulated things in their favor at one time or another. What makes men more adept at leadership, in your opinion? Well, we're more big picture oriented. We're built for war. And we're designed to physically protect and lead our families in the fractal. Women lead with emotion. Yeah, a lot of the times they do, and it's a beautiful thing, actually. The Podfather show gets it. And that's a beautiful thing. We don't deal with feelings. I mean, men have feelings. Men can be emotional. There's nothing wrong with getting emotional. But men don't typically let their emotions govern, which there's nothing wrong with women doing that. I think it's actually an incredible strength for women to do that. Swear to God. That's why they're so nurturing and caring. Funny how these libs can know every last detail of what will take Trump down, but are ghost on everything on the Bidens, Obamas, Clinton, Soros, etc. I agree with you, man. What's this guy got to say about the mules? Yeah, I mean, there's another question for you guys. The mules. What are we going to do about them? Christopher, what's your comment? I don't see any. The FBI really effed up, and Trump will be the next prez. I don't know if they effed up. They may have fell right into Trump's. They may have been a part of Trump's plan to win the hearts and minds of the American people because of quote unquote political corruption. So let's see. We got another comment coming in. Tell him what was incorrect. You can't just say you're incorrect and it be so. I think he left. I think I hurt his feelings. I don't think he's in here anymore. Works both ways. Yeah. Podfather, I don't think that he's in here anymore. I think I really hurt his feelings. Because he was being very passive. Anytime I see a dude say LOL, the only reason you add LOL, I know the exact reason people add LOL at the end of their text messages. It's because you're trying to show that you're not being like too aggressive, right? You don't want to come across too aggressive. So you add the LOL at the end, like just, it's all good though. Like it's very passive. So, be suspicious of anybody, any male friend of yours that sends you LOL on things that weren't actually laugh out loud funny. Also emojis. I don't really think emojis are a manly thing to do either, but that's just my opinion. The only time I use LOL, that's a smile emoji, is when I'm mocking a person who used them. Fair enough. Blocking people is pretty beta too. It's not beta. Let me see. Have you ever done a live stream? Have you ever had a bunch of people watching you at one time talking a bunch of nasty shit? Have you? It's not beta, actually. I don't think Trump will win because for 6 years the media has been totally against him. No, I don't think he'll win because, as I stated earlier, I mean, he's went too far on the whole cough and sniffle thing, the 19, the cough and sniffles. He brags about J&J. He brags about Operation Warp Speed, the lockdowns, all that stuff. So I don't think that he'll win. I think that DeSantis will win because of that, if DeSantis throws his hat in the ring. If DeSantis doesn't throw his hat in the ring, well, it's going to be It's going to be Trump. Then we got Alexander on YouTube. When you guys going to drop some merch? I sure do love MOT Media. It's in the works, potentially. I don't know. We've been thinking about what we're gonna do moving forward, but we've flirted with the idea of merch for sure. Democrats, unfortunately, just don't have a strong front runner. They don't. They really don't. I mean, they have AOC. They have Gavin Newsom, who they're really pushing. Gavin Newsom is who they're really pushing. But I wouldn't be surprised if AOC throws her hat inside the ring. A revolution gave you your freedom. Trollman, you don't know what you're talking about. You should drop the merch when Trump reveals his health care plan. Okay. I'm sorry, but I live in FL. I know I'm just being greedy. Just didn't want him to run. I get it. MC. I totally get it. Newsom, AOC ticket. It could be that, right? But I wouldn't be surprised if AOC ran. Didn't Newsom just come under scrutiny for some type of accusation? I don't know. Let's look it up. I haven't heard of anything. Accusation, but when is he? Is it still infrastructure week? It should be. We need better infrastructure. There was a failed recall vote last year. You're a joke, man. Okay, peace. If I'm a joke, then why are you watching? So GOP is no longer the party of law and order? They're not. I don't think that they ever really have been. So let's see here. Slam with more accusations of hypocrisy. After revealing his daughter isn't... Oh, his daughter did not get the jab, do. One of the major players on the Democrat side did just come under scrutiny for something. Well, it looks like this was back in October, though. This was of last year in October. You may be right. I'm going to try to find something. Gotta pay attention to these things. Yeah, I'd try to as well, but there's so much to try to pay attention to. As a Republican, a lot of us are all talk. Fact. And this is why MOT Media has started to focus on our state news, so where we're located. It's going to give it away. I was kind of ambiguous with my answer originally, but MOT_Ohio is the new TikTok channel we have. And it's going to be focusing on state news. So my plan with that channel is to be able to interview state politicians, local politicians, people in local and state government, and report on state and local news in an alternative manner, because all the state and local news you really get is from like these cookie cutter journalists. And I think that's a big reason why people don't listen to it. Midterms elections always go to the party, not in the power. Yeah, exactly. Travis Grone, he gets it. This has been my point for a very long time. This is historical. While there is a lot of motivation to vote Republican right now, it is historical. I'm 1.5 Rogans tall. Ron Pauls. Man, dude, I love it when a bear comes in the chat. Once in a while, we get a bear that pops in here. It's great. I don't know how many Rogans I am. I can't remember. Let's see if I can pull it up. I don't remember the website, but it's like Rogan Height Converter. I think it's this one right here. It is. So if you guys want to know how tall you are in Rogans, go to Rogan Height Converter. So I'm 20 Rogans. Exactly. When do you go live normally? Yeah, so Monday through Friday, you can catch me right around 1 o'clock. And then Tuesdays and Fridays, my co-host Mick joins, and that's usually at around midnight. And it's Eastern Standard Time, by the way. So 1 p.m. EST, Monday through Fridays, typically. Whoa, 20 Rogans. He's bigger than I thought. I don't know if that dude's a bear or not, or even knows what we're talking about, but there will never be a revolution because reps will never do anything more than complain on social media. I don't know, man. I don't know. That's so weak for midterm. If Trump doesn't go to jail, then he's on the corrupt side. All he was is the heel, okay, for Republicans. That's so weak for a midterm for Republicans, I suppose. Did I just see the N-word on here? What are they talking about? A what? Oh. They were exercising a search warrant. Republicans don't have votes to win as an R, will not vote Trump or D-Snowflake. I like that name. Between Roe being overturned, the shit with the PACT Act, Republicans lost vote. I don't know. The FBI raid. The FBI had every right to take those documents back. John Bullock, who's arguing with you? You're arguing with yourself, I think. Same FBI that burned. Oh, geez. Oh, isn't that the ATF, though? The Podfather? Wasn't that the ATF? Kansas proves Roe was a bad move. Roe wasn't a bad move, but Mott News as well. Republicans are destroying our country. Mott News is as well. Well, thank you very much for giving us that kind of credit. ATF and the FBI. Okay, cool. All right. Both of them were involved. Yeah, that's pretty messed up. Although I'm not for the dismantling of the FBI. The ATF, I don't know what purpose they serve as of right now. So I wouldn't be opposed to that unless I find something else out about them. I love your new sports guy, Zach AE. His YouTube shorts are solid. He's a good guy. He should be doing a live stream tomorrow about the UFC that's taking place tonight in Rudy Ridge. I knew about Rudy Ridge, yeah. FBI wouldn't have pushed their warrant unless it was urgent to national security, in my opinion. Huge liability. I don't know, man. I think there's a good possibility Trump was somehow behind the orchestration of that to be in his favor. But, all right, I'm going to get out of here. Been going for a little over an hour. It's been a good live stream. Thank you all for tuning in. Be sure to check us out tomorrow. I believe Zachary, he'll be in here. He's going to do sports. FBI didn't announce. Here for Trumper Tears. Glassman all week. Sweet. Tastes sweet. Okay. So, yeah, but subscribe to MOT Media on YouTube. MOT Today 1 on TikTok. MOT News on TikTok. And I'll probably end up doing a live stream at some point again tomorrow. But I have a lot of work I need to do in preparation for the new show that we're adding, MOT Ohio, focusing on state news here in Ohio. Because I think that's the politics everybody should be focusing on, mostly is state and local. That's where you have the most power. But yeah, I'd love to have you on for a podcast episode. Yeah, man. Well, let me send you an invite. Well, I just friend requested you. So just send me a DM and I'll give you my email and we can set something up. I'd love to come on your podcast. So we'll set something up. I'll give you my email and we'll go from there. But all right, guys, MOT Media, everything. Much love. Peace.